everybody, welcome back to Late to the Party, where the six of us gather together to watch movies that are at least 10 years old, and hopefully you guys have been following along with us. This week's exciting installment is Double Impact from 1991, directed by Sheldon Leitich, who also wrote Ruskies and Bloodsport and Rambo 3, and directed Lionheart. And this movie stars Jean-Claude Van Damme as Alex Wagner, Jean-Claude Van Damme as Chad Wagner, Jeffrey Lewis as Frank Avery, and he was also in Night of the Comet and Maverick. You have Alana Shaw as Danielle Wilde, who has nothing else to her name except for the sexy scenes in this movie. Alan Scarf is Nigel Griffith, who was in Iron Eagle 2 and Lethal Weapon 3. Philip Chand is Raymond Zhang, who was in Bloodsport and Hard Boiled. Bolo Young as Moon, probably Nate's favorite from Enter the Dragon and also Bloodsport. You had Corey Everson as the female assassin Kara, and she actually was only in one other movie, which was Natural Born Killers. And then lastly, my personal favorite, the cameo of David Ho as the big thug outside the lab, who was the sumo guy from Bloodsport. This movie, fantastic movie, has ratings of 5.6 out of 10 on IMDb, 35% on Rotten Tomatoes, and only 3 out of 5 stars on Walmart.com.
Oh, it made Walmart.com?
God.
Every movie's made Walmart.com. You guys just aren't checking hard enough.
All right.
So, just quickly, this movie basically takes place 25 years after seeing his father killed by Hong Kong crime boss Raymond Zhang. Chad Wagner is living in Los Angeles. Actually, I think that should be Alex Wagner. Is living in Los Angeles as a flourishing yet peaceful martial arts trainer. But Alex has a twin brother, Chad, who suddenly reunites with his less aggressive sibling and wants to avenge their father's death. And as the pair plan their payback against Zhang, they also struggle to overcome their personal differences. I hadn't seen this movie probably since the mid-90s, and I had forgotten almost all of it. But I wanted to jump right into the questions. I'm going to start with the individual questions first, and they get to one general question before we wrap things up. So I'm going to start with Isaac. I would like you, Isaac, just quickly, if you will, to give us your personal breakdown of all the scenes that were involving Jean-Claude Van Damme appearing with himself, where the brothers are in frame together. What did you think?
I thought that was such brilliant acting. I want to know, did he get double pay for this? Because he was acting with himself most of the time. And it was just as great as you would expect Jean-Claude Van Damme to be against Jean-Claude Van Damme. I loved every moment of it. I also cringed every moment of it. My very favorite scene of Jean-Claude had to be when we first see Alex was the LA one, right?
Yeah.
Alex
Yes.
In his working at that studio in those tight ass pants that aerobics wear. It was just like, oh my god. And that scene, it starts off with just that chick. And you're just like, oh yeah, this is the type of movie we're coming into. Jean-Claude always has to be in right there with all the chicks. But yeah, he was fantastic. The best performance you could hope for from Jean-Claude.
Did you have any commentary about the special effects that were utilized when they were sitting on the couch, or when they were coming out of the dark together, or things like that?
Oh, you could totally see the two-way mirror type shit that they were using back then. And when it was over the shoulder and like the dude's right there, you're like, oh, dude, that you could tell that's not even his head. Well, yeah, it was a perfect. What was this? 90s? Perfect
91, yeah.
Yeah, perfect 91 style. I would expect for a Jean-Claude Van Damme flick for sure.
It was the perfect 80s movie that got recorded in 91.
All right, Lego. Given that you are our resident artiste,
Yes.
I would like to know what your thoughts were for the one very artistic scene in the film, which of course is Chad's drunken imaginings of Alex having sex with his girlfriend Danielle.
That was really passionate.
Hey, Josh, you've got them mixed up.
Yeah,
Chad is in LA. Alex is in Hong Kong, and it's Alex is the one who really has the girl.
right.
Okay.
I got a buddy named Chad that we ride bikes with that I used to tease about being the gay one on this movie. So it's pretty.
All right. Well, Lego, please continue.
Yeah, of course. The fantasy. Wow. I mean, if you're trying to like imagine what a man's fantasy would be like in the 80s, I think they nailed it. Dude, the harsh lighting. We've got that extra blue and an extra like pinky red color, and they're just fucking vibing. It was great. I mean, it was exactly what you'd imagine like a sex scene to be back then. Ripped muscles, glistening skin. It was perfect. I actually was laughing pretty hard at that point, so I liked it. Glad you brought that one up.
Those fake 90s boobs, man.
You see the cuts underneath them.
They don't make them like that
anymore,
man. You don't see them like that anymore.
All right. Jose, your question is, since this was Jean-Claude's attempt to show his acting chops and potentially break away from the martial art film genre, where do you think he went wrong?
Damn.
No, seriously, he worked out the details with the director. He wanted to show that he had more than just his martial arts skills. And what better way to display that than to play two different characters in one film? So what do you think?
Jose froze.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, I don't know what happened there.
So your thoughts then?
Okay. Man, listen, I'm gonna tell you what he did right though. What he did right was something that a lot of the movie franchises nowadays are, they're venturing into like China and all of those countries to get a much bigger, exposure. So he did that right. I think where he went wrong was having the desire to leave what he was doing, right. Everybody knew him for martial arts films, and it was almost kind of like when, like Jackie Chan, he does martial arts films, he does them well. I don't recall seeing a movie where he tried to get all, really acting until like maybe The Karate Kid with Jaden Smith, where he showed like maybe 5 minutes of it. And I think that's what he needed to do, is just kind of try to limit it. Like, don't try to do the whole movie where, you're trying to showcase something that may or may not be there.
That's the first time I ever heard that version of Karate Kid used as like glorification of an acting role.
Well, he has a solid like 10 minutes where he talks about the whole thing that happened with his wife. And personally, I thought, I'm like, damn, Jackie Chan can act in that. Like, and those little, in the, very, very small moments here and there, he had some great moments. I think he was just trying to do too much at once. I think if he would have just stuck with the martial art, too much, pun intended. I'm gonna make it work, pun intended. Yeah, I think if he had just kind of tightened it up, limited the amount of times where he was trying to showcase something, again, like I'm repeating myself, but what may or may not have been there, do what you know is that you can do, and then just give us a little tidbit. And I don't know. I think maybe if he really wanted to showcase that he could act, go with a different, completely different movie. Like this wasn't it. Like you were trying to Parent Trap this thing before you could, before the Parent Trap. But I will say, when was the Parent Trap film? Does anybody know off the top of their head?
60s film, wasn't it?
Yeah, Jose, you're talking about the
original was.
No, Lindsay Lohan.
No, we're talking about the original one. There was original one.
Haley Mills.
Yeah.
Disney in the
was
60s.
60s.
Oh, dude, I wasn't alive then, so I didn't know.
I knew.
I wasn't either, but I know.
But you know what though? It's a shame that this movie's rated so low. And I'd like to know, when were these reviews done? Because
After they watch the movie.
when the internet was created,
right? You know what? I'm with Josh on this one, man. I really enjoyed this movie. I think that everybody nowadays is just trying to Oscar bait the hell out of something when you can't, or it doesn't exist. You know, there's no way that you're going to win an Oscar for certain performances. So to have a movie, it's like a time capsule, man. That's why I joked at the beginning. It says the great 80s movie that was filmed in 91, because it's fun. You know, it doesn't take, it sucks because I feel like he was trying to take himself very serious, but the film overall is not serious. And I generally enjoyed it. I like just sitting back watching a very convoluted plot that I was like, how, you know, and the dialogue and the interactions with all the characters, like, you got to trust me, man. Like, dude, you just laid on me. You've been hiding this 25-year-old secret. How the heck do you want me to trust you? But he trusts them anyways, and they end up going to Hong Kong. So I miss stuff like that. But I just think he was trying to showcase something in the wrong type of movie. So that's my 2 cents.
Thank you.
That's like 12
All in
cents,
all.
bro.
What's up?
That's like 12 cents.
Dude, I like this movie, man. I don't know what the hell it was about it. I was like, holy crap, this movie's cool. I wanted to watch more Jean-Claude Van Damme movies.
it's your best VHS movie you'd watch when you won a Video Sky or any of those A+ videos that you'd pick up and you're just like, damn, dude, that was a cool movie. Let's eat more popcorn.
How come the middle of it, the tape's all worn out?
Because my Ferrari tape rewinder got jammed at that point.
All right, Liz. Liz, your question is that until 2015, Van Damme and Leitage were in talks to do a sequel to Double Impact.
Oh dear God.
Where Alex, or actually rather, I guess Chad, the brother from LA, would be portrayed similar to the way Jean-Claude portrayed his role in JCVD. And then Alex, the brother from Hong Kong, would be portrayed more like Jean Villain from Expendables 2. Would you be excited to see that?
No. Not at all.
And why or why not?
Because I didn't even want to see this one. Why do I want to see this? I remember seeing this movie in the theater, and it was, I think I was excited to see it then because it was a rated R movie more than anything. This movie's just, it's dumb. It's just, and I don't want to see the same dumb over again. I want to see different dumb. And that's why I watch different movies. I don't even know where to begin with this. As far as acting goes, Jean-Claude Van Damme can't act. His whole purpose in movies is to do his punches and to do his cool roundhouse kick thing and do his little split strip that he does and punch people in the throat all the time and get shit thrown in his eyes so he's blinded and he's gotta fight. He's gotta fight blinded while he's doing this stuff. You know, I saw that in Bloodsport. I don't need to see this stuff again. I just don't. It's so bad. And and I don't need to see a fight with Bolo Young again, where like then all of a sudden his shirt gets ripped. He's like, "Fuck it, let's just take our shirts off and fight for real now." Because he's like, "Okay, well you took your shirt off, I'm gonna take off mine," and it's just Bloodsport all over again. Except for he dies in this one by electrocution. Spoiler alert. This is when I have to text you guys and say that my favorite scene in this whole movie is actually the sex scene. That says something. That says something. So
That was so good.
That's
like the best. This is the most entertaining Liz has ever been. Michelle, is you're great. Oh,
And that's the other thing too, is if I can impersonate somebody so well, how good is it really? Let's be honest. Let's be honest. If I can impersonate a top-notch, supposedly martial artist, actor, gymnast, whatever the hell, dancer he was, how good can he be?
All right, let's see. All right, let's see your split.
Right. Moving on from that, Mr. the Great. Last individual question is for you, and you kind of already hinted at it already in the beginning of this episode, but I thought I would get a little bit more of a breakdown from you on your thoughts on the fight choreography in this film.
Yeah, it was like really slow. It seemed like the punches, the kicks, every move that anybody was going to do was so telegraphed. And I had known that going into this, but just because like when I saw the newer stuff come out that was so much faster, I remember, oh, that's faster than the old stuff. But I never took a second to go back and look at the old stuff and really do the math and figure out that when they go to do the punch, it's like, all right, I can almost hear their thoughts. Like, I'm going to put my hand back and charge this punch up, and then I'm going to go and give it to you. And there's moments in fight scenes where like they might do something like that and do it in slow motion to add dramatic effect, but they're just fighting like that. They're just like,
Maybe they thought they were gonna speed it up, but they're like, crap,
Wow.
this movie's not long enough, so we're just gonna have to slow it down.
like even
I see.
like even the kicks, like they look like they like it looks like he knows how to kick, but it's like whoever you're kicking is gonna have to like run and put their face right where the boot's gonna go, because like you can like accidentally kick that guy's ass if he's that slow. It was just so slow. And I know that like the Jet Li era, they sped things up. But Jackie Chan didn't speed things up. Bruce Lee didn't speed things up, and they didn't speed anything. In fact, they slowed Bruce Lee stuff down. And then Tony Jaa most recently in Ong Bak, they had that those fights were all in regular speed.
You know, the one thing, speaking of Ong Bak, one of the things that when I was watching this film that reminded me of Ong Bak was the fact that these Asian stunt guys are willing to take a beating in order to get the scene. These guys were crashing into things, like landing like on their back and stuff, and I'm like, you know, even though this wasn't nearly as well choreographed as Ong Bak, you can tell that these guys were doing things that probably would have put some of us in traction. So kudos to them.
Oh,
all right.
100%.
General question then for everybody is one of our standards. It's what is your favorite scene in the movie? And we'll start again with Isaac.
Oh, that love scene. 100%. Him all drunk, yelling at the top of his lungs, and he's just thinking about them doing it all slow-mo, and chef's kiss.
Lego.
I think my favorite scene was when he I don't know what the karate move is called. I think it's like break glass, break opponent or something, but he crushes a glass after drinking some whiskey, and then he grabs some more glasses and crashes them on another dude, and I was like, dude, this is awesome. That was so great.
So good.
That's when they were at the club.
Yeah,
it's like,
What was the name of that club again? It had like some funky name, like the.
I don't know. It's stupid, so it doesn't matter.
Jose, your favorite scene?
It's got to be the parent death scene, mainly because they didn't hold back. And if you guys noticed, a big chunk of the guy's arm is missing, and somehow he's still walking around trying to shoot and protect the babies. That shit was gory, man.
Yeah.
I was like, dang, they did not hold back on this. So anybody blaming the early 2000s, late 90s for making all these kids violent need to take a look at 91 and how brutal that shit was. I don't know. It was just it got my attention right away. I like the whole setup with the connecting bridge and the whole backstabbing aspect of it. It was an interesting little plot that I wish would have been explored a little bit more. But it was. I mean, obviously it was the beginning, but I mean, for 91, that was actually pretty clever.
Especially when they were driving.
I like those little cars. I like that little. That was a. I could have sworn. I thought that was like
Triumph?
a little Corvette.
I think it was a Triumph.
Was it? See, I don't know. But I like those
I'm
little.
not
I was
sure.
like, man, that was a cool little.
I have
When he
the
says,
Hot Wheels.
"Hey, man, I said go home," he says, "I'm not. I did go home." Then that's not you following me. Like that whole. That was cool, man. I like that. That was a good little. And then, but like I said, the gun violence is pretty gory. I like that. I like gore. I like how they were, and they didn't hold back when they blasted the mom's head, and the guy pulls up, like you see the little head all squished up,
Yeah, it's
and like blood everywhere. Thing was
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Liz, your favorite scene?
Well, I mean, I kind of already said it was a sex scene, but then since Isaac already took that one, my other favorite scene was at the end during the after everything is said and done. The movie ends like this.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my favorite scene right there. And scene. And then it was over, and I could go home.
You can go on with your life.
That's right. I never have to see this movie ever again, or a remake. But knowing my luck, it's gonna happen. We're gonna, like 2 weeks from now, we're gonna hear the guess what, Jean-Claude Van Damme and Jean-Claude Van Damme are coming back, and I'll be like,
Double
Impact
impact.
2.
Yeah,
Double the impact.
double the impact.
But to really like drive it home, it needs to be Jean-Claude Van Damme and Jean-Claude Van Damme introducing Jean-Claude Van Damme.
I know you
They find out they had
a
a triplet.
The triplets.
Quadruplets. If we're doubling up.
Yeah. Triple
They did
impact.
it about him.
No, they're just truly gonna parent trap it again. So the
Do
two
you
of them-
remember John and Kate plus 8?
And so now
All 8.
they've got
Damn.
they've got 4 kids that it's their kids trying to make revenge of their parents because the 2 Jean-Claudes have died. But then their kids kind of look like their dad, and so then the 4 of them go out into the world.
So he'll be 4 girls and 4 boys, and he'll jack them style.
That's right. It just gets better and better. How come we aren't writing this shit down and sending it in?
Oh my god.
Dude, Jean-Claude Van Damme with the wig. Woo!
At this age, yikes. All right, let's wrap it up
Wait,
then.
you didn't ask Nate.
Oh, I'm sorry, Nate, your favorite scene.
What's wrong with you?
Woo! I think my favorite scene was the first time where Chad is over by the containers and he beats up Bolo's homies fairly handily, even though it's in slow motion. And then he goes to do one of his kicks, his super telegraphed, like the kind of kick to where I was thinking, hey, if somebody tried to kick me like that, I would duck down and punch him in the nuts. Bolo ducked down and punched him in the nuts, and I was like, hey, scene,
Justification, great minds think alike.
right?
All right, so now let's wrap up with buckets. Let's start with you, Isaac. What do you got for us?
I'm giving this 5 buckets. I'm right there with the IMDb crowd. It's going to happen.
Right, Lego?
We're doubling that. 10 buckets. Double impact. Man, what a brilliant dissection of like it's really deep, man, when you think about it. Like in the climax of the film, you see Jean-Claude Van Damme climbing this towering crane, signifying him trying to scale the hierarchy and overcome technology. And then we see the other crane bringing some big boxes, and they're constraining the other Jean-Claude. And it's really a good a good metaphor for industrialization. And no, dude, you guys are taking this movie too seriously, man. It's a fucking action movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme. He's kicking ass and he's shooting lots of dudes and rolling on the ground with twin pistols. It's a fun, funny movie, and it's so bad it's good.
Oh my god! I forgot about that part too. The two guns and rolling, and he's doing his front rolls. Oh god!
Like, nobody just went over him and just went bah.
Jose, how many buckets, sir?
We're gonna double Legos buckets. We're gonna give this a point. I'm kidding. Listen, it's not epic, so we can't give it a 10 by all means. But I don't know if you guys noticed this. Google reviews, I think, gave this movie a 91. So I'm gonna go with that crowd, and I'm gonna give it a solid 9. Like I said, it was fun, man. It was fun. I enjoyed it. This was a time in movie history where shit was just fun. And we need to get back to that, man. Who fucking cares if the plot's a little twisty? You gotta force some stuff. You know, who freaking cares, man? It was fun just putting on a movie, chilling back, and, you know, not needing to see somebody's meta shit. Like, just Jean-Claude Van Damme being Jean-Claude motherfucking Van Damme. So I'll give it a solid 9, man. I enjoyed it.
I'm gonna have to go back and I'm gonna have to give it 2 more points because my kid did wake up towards the ending of the movie with all the fighting, and I turned around and he was locked in on it. So I'm gonna have to give it 2 more points. So I'll give it a 7 because yeah, my son was really into it when it ended, and he was like, he's like, that's it, no more fighting. And I'm like, oh shit, he was into this action, and I was on that age when I was loving action movies. So I'll give Jean-Claude 2 more.
Wow.
So I'll get 7.
All right. Liz, how many buckets?
It gets 1 for Jean-Claude Van Damme, and it gets another 1 for Jean-Claude Van Damme. That's it.
2 buckets.
It gets 2. Now, I understand everything that you said. No, don't take it seriously. It's not an Oscar-winning performance. It's not even supposed to be anything like that. I get that, but this just was a bad Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. Like, there's other ones of his that I don't like. I mean, I love Bloodsport. I thought Lionheart was good. I like Hard Target. There's a bunch of them that I like. This just isn't it. This is not the one for me. This is not the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie for me. And I know it's like one of those things where it's like, sure, it's an action movie, but yeah, Jose pointed out there's a little bit of espionage at the beginning, and then there's this love story kind of thing, and then there's the kids' vengeance movie, and this movie doesn't even know what it's supposed to be doing. So how the hell am I supposed to do it? So it gets 2 buckets, 1 for each Jean-Claude, and that's all. That's it.
So Liz doesn't give a Van Damme about this movie.
I don't give 2 Van Dammes about this movie.
All right, Nate, what do you got?
All right. Well, like Jose said, it doesn't have this movie didn't haunt the action genre for years to come with influence, so we can't go on the epic scale with it. And as an avid martial arts fan, you know, the choreography wasn't, it was subpar, but it was pretty much on par for the day. Like, he was the main martial arts action star for quite a minute. So I remember when this movie came out, I didn't have any problem with it. In fact, I was stoked to see the boobs. So that, you know, that much of it can take a 5 to an 8, you know, like a pretty girl that could take a 5 to an 8. That can, you know, pull your attention back in when you start doing some other things. Like, oh man, this movie's really dragging. But I remember there's a good team coming up here. I should pay attention. So that's gonna pull you in a little bit more. I don't think the plot was horrible. At least it wasn't a martial arts tournament. It wasn't like another Enter the Dragon knockoff, and you know, Van Damme had a bunch of those and bunch of those feathers in his cap for sure. So, you know, I give this one an 8. I give this one an 8. It was and the biggest question for me, and I was on the fence between 7 and 8, but the question for me was honestly, was I entertained? And you know, did it translate? Not really. Is it epic? Not really. You know, are the martial art scenes great? Not really. But you know, I was entertained.
All right. I'm probably going to come in a little bit lower than some of you guys expect. I did enjoy the story, and I do think that the movie is fun to watch, but the acting is tough, and I would probably rate it lower, except he doubled up in it. And the directing, I don't think this guy's a real strong director, but I'm a big fan of Jean-Claude, and I always give everything like that a little bit of a boost, so I'm giving it 7 buckets. So, and with that, that's going to wrap up this episode of Late to the Party. We hope that you're going to join us for our episodes of Talking Shh, where we're going to find out what our next film is, and that film is going to be done by our good friend Jose. And if you will join us in that podcast, you can find out what the movie is and join us in for next week's episode. So for Late to the Party, I'm Josh.
I'm Liz. You almost said my name.
I did.
Isaac.
I'm Jose.
Jason.
Nate the Great.
And we'll see you guys next week.
My God.